Good Sunday morning. Welcome to WGN-TV Political Report. I'm Paul Lisnick. New concerns raised on Wall Street about the Bally's Casino project in River West. Two separate ratings agencies have downgraded their outlook for Bally's ability to finance the $1.7 billion project. The revised outlook on Bally's debt dropped from stable to negative. They're concerned it could take on too much debt to complete the casino. Bally's has not commented on the report. It's already seeing a strong reaction from several staunch opponents. City Council overwhelmingly approved Bally's bid in May, but the detractors were concerned about the company's ability to raise the necessary cash. Well, joining me now is one of those City Council members, Alderman Brendan Riley, Alderman for the 42nd Ward. That includes the River North area where the temporary casino is going to operate. Alderman, thanks for being with me.
Good to be with you, Paul.
So you tweeted when that word came out from Fitch and S&P lowering things, nothing like saying I told you so. What's the message?
Well, you know, those of us who vetted the casino proposal on the City Council raised these very same concerns during that process. And so it's reassuring to know that the financial experts on Wall Street, specifically at Fitch and S&P, are looking at this as a very risky deal, which a number of us did as well. And that's a real concern because Chicago is looking to Bally's as its partner, and frankly, the funding for our underfunded pension systems relies upon the success of this casino. And so hearing that it's a risky proposition and hearing that they're possibly facing a downgrade because of this, that should be a concern to every taxpayer, because literally our pensions depend upon this.
Another piece of this, Alderman, Bally's plans $2 million in annual public safety funding. They say it was based on a safety assessment. You say that assessment was never prepared.
I haven't seen an assessment. No one has. And that seems like an awfully round number. $2 million is a very round number. So it was arbitrary. And I don't think there is any math done to determine how much additional security do we need? Do we need more cameras, infrastructure, these sorts of things? That report hasn't been produced. And so the $2 million doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody. And knowing what it costs to pay for police, that's a drop in the bucket.
Is the horse out of the barn at this point?
Well, the City Council approved this ordinance over my objections and a few of my colleagues. The Illinois Gaming Board still has to review this application, and they ultimately will decide whether or not Bally's receives a license. And I can tell you that I've got to figure the gaming board is going to take a very careful look at what S&P and Fitch recently said about this deal. I think that will be very important to them.
In an area related to a lot of violence in the city, as I'm sure you know, your colleague Brian Hopkins is basically proposing that those bars that stay open until 5 in the morning, that gets changed in the River North area to deter crime. What's your view on that? And is that a policy, if you support it, should spread beyond?
Well, I think Alderman Hopkins is right that we do have a lot of quality of life problems tied up with these late hour liquor licenses, and that's a real concern. However, I would favor using the regulatory tools we already have in a more aggressive fashion. I can tell you that city regulators and the police know who the late hour bad actors are. You can write them on one piece of paper. And so let's go after the bad actors. There are a number of late hour establishments that are well run by good business owners who are sensitive to the neighborhood. They hire good security. They make sure that their customers exit quietly. And when there's problems, they call the police immediately. I don't think we should punish the folks who are playing by the rules because the bad actors are making such a mess of things. Let's take them and put them out of business. And frankly, the city needs to be more aggressive with that. We don't discipline bad actors enough, and I think that has to improve.
Speed cameras also on the agenda, as you know, an effort by Alderman Beal and others, and you support this change of going back to 10 miles an hour over as the trigger point for the tickets rather than 6. Of course, the mayor points to statistics saying, hey, look, injuries, deaths have been up 15% in 2021 from 2020. What do you say to the people who make the argument, you know, people just went the speed limit, we wouldn't have a problem?
Well, that's true, but this feels a lot like gotcha. And it's funny, you know, in the same breath the mayor says this is about public safety, she also tells us this is about revenue. So which is it? And if it's not correcting the behavior, to me, it just seems like a tax on driving. I favor lower speed limits. Lower speed limits save lives, but these particular tickets seem to be an $80 million revenue generator and not so much about correcting the behavior.
So the mayor kind of got that, you know, used some parliamentary procedure to push that off. What eventually happens in your view? What do you think?
I think it's likely that Alderman Beal's proposal will pass. It seems to have a fair amount of support on the council. And again, a lot of folks in the general public view this as gotcha, literally the city reaching into your pocketbook. And so my guess is that Alderman Beal's ordinance will prevail.
Bike lanes, you've got some proposed ordinances going forward about limiting driving, standing, idling in bike lanes. And, I wasn't sure exactly what you were referring to, but I think you're actually talking about delivery drivers and FedExes and all the people who park in those bike lanes for a while.
That's right. Yeah, we're talking mostly about the freight delivery people, UPS, FedEx, even the Postal Service. But there's an awful lot of illegal staging going on in our bike lanes. People are parking in them, making deliveries in them, and it's problematic because it's forcing bicyclists into traffic. And when that happens, oftentimes they're getting hit. And so, if we're putting all this money into building out bicycle infrastructure, we need to protect it better. We need to enforce the law. And so there's actually technology that exists that we can install on our curbs that will take pictures of all these license plates in our bike lanes, and we can issue them tickets via mail. And I think with that enforcement stepping up, we can correct that problem very quickly. But it's an important thing we need to address because we have miles and miles of these bike lanes, and people are getting killed in them.
I always follow your tweets. It what fills me in on what's going on. And of course, you pointed out that the mayor may have reached an agreement with NASCAR to have 3 years of stock car races through the streets of downtown Chicago. You might remember Mayor Byrne tried that back in 1980 and then pulled the plug before it happened. But your point was nobody's been consulted on this.
No one has. This announcement came out, and not a single one of the aldermen that represent parts of downtown was engaged on this. And apparently these negotiations have been going on for months now. And so that's very disappointing. I think that should be a transparent process. Obviously, hosting a NASCAR race in downtown Chicago can be very disruptive. And so I think that requires a broader conversation. I think the public should be brought into the conversation, and certainly their elected officials should.
We're out of time, but Harry Osterman announces at the end of the week that he's not running for office again. Kappelman out, Scott out. Are you running for re-election next year?
I'm planning on running for re-election, yes, and certainly I'm going to miss Harry Osterman. He's a great colleague, and he'll be missed on the city council for sure.
Alderman Brendan Riley of the 42nd Ward, thanks for your time today, sir. Have a great Sunday. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You too.